Yo, it's the world champion, Judah Friedlander, and I want you to watch Comedy Matters TV and subscribe. Why? Because it's hosted by Jeffrey Gurian, best hair in the business.
I'm here with the world champion, Judah Friedlander. How are you, bro?
Incredible. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Absolutely
Everyone's
amazing.
afraid to play me in pool because I won.
Well, I heard, you know that Variety top 10 comics to watch?
Yeah.
I heard that when you were here, originally, it was the top 20 comics, and you were all 20 comics.
No. Incorrect.
Incorrect.
It was just one comic to watch.
One comic to watch.
Yeah. It was Variety's top one.
One, and that was
Yeah.
you.
It was their top one list. Yeah.
You've been going up ever since.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's pretty
What show? You're doing a show at the main line here?
Yeah, Mainline Theater. I'm doing a 1-hour show every night. It's awesome. And then I'm jump on a bunch of other shows. I did Set List, which is Paul Provenza's show, which is it's an awesome show where people should definitely check out Set List show on Twitter. Set List show on Twitter. It's you basically comic goes on stage. Behind them there's a screen and it projects a subject or some words, and then on the spot you got to just make up an act right there. And every like 2 minutes they put up a new one, so it's really cool. It's like a brand new set for the first time, and it's like the only time you do it. It's really cool.
But the crazy part about it is that the words don't necessarily go together.
No, they
it's
don't.
Not like a premise. It's not an easy
I had
premise.
one, and it was, oh gosh, I can't remember. I mean, it goes by so quick. But one was ABBA abortion.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff
that's one I had
do.
last night.
Yeah.
So that gets on, and then you just got to start talking about it and come up with jokes right on the spot. It's a lot of fun,
But
man.
that's what you do.
Yeah, it was
You do
fun.
that all the time.
Yeah,
For you, that
it
must
was
be
fun.
easy. For
Yeah,
some comics.
it's a little, it's
It could be intimidating.
It's fun. Yeah, it can be, but it's fun, and it's liberating too. So it's really cool.
See, that's the sign of somebody who has been on stage for so long, because for some comics it might be frightening to have to do that. Some people just work from prepared material.
Yeah. Well, it can be, but you gotta that's why you always got to be like testing and stretching yourself, So it's like, because before I was doing it, I was like, I've done it a couple times before, and sometimes I wasn't nervous, and then sometimes you are. And this one I was like, oh boy, because I was really tired, and I'm like, I just want to go to sleep. I'm exhausted, and I'm like, oh, I got to be thinking quicker than ever. And then you get up there, you just you get in a good mood before going up, you just have fun, and it's good stuff.
It's like
man.
the ultimate of improv. Improv sometimes falls flat. It's it's the hardest thing in the world, I think. It's harder than just stand-up comedy.
Yeah, well,
it's
it's
thinking on your feet.
Yeah, they're all different things, and this set list thing is really a lot of fun, man. It's a really it's a different kind of thing, and it's
Provenza.
Cool.
Provenza always gets interesting
he's great,
stuff,
man.
right?
Yeah, he's a really good guy, man.
Really good dude.
He's like, he's cool, man.
And everybody loves to do his show. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Were you at Colin's keynote speech?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Wasn't it cool that he talked about fear and uncomfortability? Because so many people don't talk about that. How no matter how far you are in the game and how successful you could be.
I actually just started a new website, and it actually fear is a topic involved in it because it's something nobody wants to talk about. All comedians hate the check spot at a comedy club, and the check spot is when the comedy show is going on, and the comedy club makes the audience pay for the show during the show. It's where they drop the checks, and it's very disruptive to the show. It's very hard on the comic. It's very disruptive to the audience, and but it doesn't have to be done. But 98% of the comedy clubs do it that way.
Why do you say it doesn't have to be done?
Well, there are certain clubs like the Comedy Cellar, the Stand, the Stress Factory, who drop the checks after the show, when the show's over, so they don't interrupt the show. So it doesn't have to be done that way.
Well, that would make much more sense.
Yeah, right. But nobody does it that way. 98% of the clubs make the audience pay during the show, and it's very disruptive. So I started a website. It's a petition to get people, if they want to not get the checks dropped during the show. It's called dropthecheckspot.org.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's
so
great.
So sign it if you like it.
No, I love it because I got stuck with that.
And I want to do it in a friendly way, because it's not like, so many times it seems like club owners and comics, it's almost like this, they work together but they're pitted against each other. It's like I love comedy clubs. I just want to make them even better than they already are. That's all. And I think this will help everybody. And I think the audience, and I know the comics will like it better, and they'll be able to put on a better show, and the audience will see a better show, and I think that'll lead to more money for club owners.
But I wonder why they did it in the first place, because it doesn't really make sense when you think about it to interrupt a show.
Well, I mean, there's several reasons, but other comedy clubs have proved that it can be done, that you don't have to drop them during the show. It's proven. It's out there. They do it every week. They do it every night. You know, and the Comedy Cellar does 4 shows a night every Friday, Saturday. And they get the room ready every time. You know, the Stress Factory, big room. They do it every time too. So it can be done. But sometimes, you know, there's a formula that's just been used, and everyone just keeps doing it. And I'm saying, hey, let's try to do something. Let's try to make it better. You know?
Yeah, that's very cool. And so, what's the response been like from when you?
I just started it this morning. It just went up this morning. So please sign up, spread the word. It's you can type in either one. It's don't drop the checks during the show.org.
.org. Okay.
Or
why not .com? What'd you get that?
I don't know. I think org is more of a no.
True.
Yeah, I'm not making any money off it. Sometimes .com people don't realize it means it's a business. This is not a business.
Oh, okay.
It's just a petition, you know, for information, and then a petition to sign if you would like to see the checks not drop during the show.
I thought you were going to say that somebody already had don't drop the checks.com.
No, they don't have that. Yeah. So. Or dropthechecks.org. Yeah, so that's a new site I just started, and I hope everyone signs it. You know,
I think it's a very meaningful thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you still ever experience fear, like Colin talked about, or have you ever not taken a gig in your early days, because of fear?
Fear always. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, and that's a complicated issue where, you know, there's fear of failure, there's fear of success.
And they're very close.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's really hard to tell the difference.
A lot of people don't realize that fear of success can be an almost bigger problem than a fear of failure.
Right, because you create self-sabotage.
Yeah, because that's like I've never put out an album or a special, and there's been creative reasons for that, but then some of them have also been the fear of, someone might give it a shitty review, or maybe it won't get marketed right, and then nobody will see it. And then those are like, that's, you can call that and then, you know, they're like, then it might be huge, and then how does that change things? And then, you know, so you can have both at the same time too.
Well,
so
I'll give you
those are issues I've had, definitely.
I'll give you a very simple personal example, and I was telling Colin, even asking someone to do an interview like this, people are running all over the place. Yeah. Even when they want to do it, I asked you several times, and you were busy, and we're friends, but you said, hey, I will do it. I just can't do it now. But having to ask someone, there's fear involved. It's like nobody wants to impose on someone. You want to do it when someone's in the mood. But you never know if they're in the mood unless you ask them. You can't know. You can't be a mind reader. But it's tension for me.
But fear is, it's something. I mean, fear is necessary on some levels. But
otherwise, you'd be an asshole.
Right. Exactly. And then if you had no fear, you'd just be maybe bothering people constantly. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it is. But
when it stands in your way,
but you need to be able to control it. You know, and fear can become overwhelming. Yeah, and that certainly happens, and that's something I deal with. I think it's something a lot of people deal with, and it's not always easy to figure out.
No, it's very complex, and that's why I gave him props for mentioning it, because when he told the story about turning down Mike Myers, you know how many times I've spoken to people who said, I'm working on my own stuff. I got a lot of stuff like that.
I've done that too. Or if you do something, you're afraid, maybe it's not going to turn out right, so and it'll be out of my control, and I won't look good in it, and then you just don't do it, and then you're like, wow, you should just maybe say yes more often. You know, but on the other hand, there are times where I've said yes to gigs. I'm like, wow, this is a horrible gig. I should have said no. So it's like, it's hard to judge that stuff. But in general, you just got to look at things like, all right, is it something I really want to do? Is this something I want to do? And then it's like even like set list last night. There are a lot of agents there.
It would be very easy to say.
There are a lot of agents there. I could have just been like, I should not go on this, because set list is very hit or miss. Because you're not doing your act. You have much less control. So you can tank it up there. So you're like, is it this? So it's a gamble. It's like
total gamble.
All these agents are there and stuff, and you're like, and so a lot of my agents were there. So you're like, they could see me look bad here, and then maybe they won't use me as much or promote me as much. You know, but you gotta look at, comedy it's an art, and because we live in a capitalist society, it's also a business. And I try to always look at it, and it's not always easy, but I try to look at it from an art perspective. So it's like, and for art, you got to try new things and take chances. And so when you look at things as just the work, and not like, oh, is this going to promote me here? What are the agents going to think of that? Just look at the work you're doing. Then a lot of that fear subsides, because all you're doing is trying to do your best. And whether you do well or not, that's fine. Because if you don't do well that night, you'll learn from it.
You learn from it.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and if you do well, it's great. So it's a win-win, actually. The fear doesn't really have to be there, and that's the way you got to look at things.
Fear isn't real, but
right.
It feels real sometimes.
Oh, it can be.
And you got to walk through.
Overwhelming. Yeah. So you just got to. If you look at things more as just the work and the art and the comedy, then I think your fears in general will subside, because most fears come with whether it's failure or success. And if you just look at, hey, I'm just trying to do something really cool here, and let's see if it works. It's like being a kid. It's like, exactly. This will be fun, you know?
That's where a lot of our fears start, from when you're a kid.
Right, and then so if you just look at it as like, this is going to be fun. It might work, and then it'll be even more fun. If it doesn't work, hey, we'll come up with a new game.
Exactly.
And that's how you got to look at it. And then that fear goes away. And so.
Well, confronting your uncomfortability is an important thing to do. Yeah. It's too easy. If you just stay in your comfort zone, you don't get anywhere. Yeah. You got to expand the box.
Too, I think, you know.
It does lead to, absolutely, and it can lead to addiction as well. Yeah. That's what so much addiction is.
The same thing. Yeah, you can get it.
Overcoming fear. People drink.
I mean, I'm guilty of that sometimes, even in, my act. It's like I'm always doing new material, but sometimes I do, my opening joke will be, I'll do the same one all the time, because you're like, you want to get, and you want something that works right away. But it's like, you know what, you should, I should be, and I'm starting to do it more. But you always got to fight that and fight for it. It's like, you know what, I should have tons of openers, and always be having new ones. But it's very easy to like stick with what works, and which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you always have to be forcing yourself to move forward also.
There's a great statement that I heard once. It said, courage is not a lack of fear. Courage is having the fear and doing it anyway.
Exactly.
Walking through the fear and be like, fuck the fear.
Yeah, it's like managing it. Yeah, managing it.
Fear is a bully.
Yeah.
And you need to stand up to it. Yeah. Otherwise it stands in your way. Yeah. And that's why it was so cool
and also realize that in many situations it's not necessary. We
do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We create our fear.
Yeah. There's very few areas where you actually need the fear. There
are healthy fears, but not when it comes to your career and things that you love and things that you know that you're good at.
Everyday life things, you really don't need fear. It's like, if there's a highway going by, your fear kicks in. Oh, I shouldn't go stand in the middle of the road. That's
those are healthy fears.
Right, those are really the only ones you need. But when it comes to like success or relationships,
should I walk over and say hello to somebody?
No, you really, I mean, have manners, and don't be rude, but fear shouldn't really be in there, So.
Now, I want to ask you a personal thing that's always been interesting to me. You've created a persona for yourself, and a very successful persona, but you're always you.
Yeah,
this is you.
It's like a mix. Yeah.
So is that stressful at all? I mean, wherever you go, people recognize you. You've been on 30 Rock for so long.
It can be stressful. Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
But you seem to handle it well.
And it can be well. Sometimes it really does stress me out. It's like, like I might be running late to do a show, and I'm walking down the street fast to get to my show because I'm late, and then someone stops you and they want you to take a picture, and if you say no, they're gonna think you're a jerk. And then so then you start worrying, they're going to think I'm an asshole now, and it's like it takes too long to explain them this whole thing, because I was supposed to be on stage 10 minutes ago and they're waiting on me, and now they're going to think I'm a dick for being even later because I took time to take a phone with this person. So yes, but you can't, you just got to find a way to quickly explain things. And then there's also the constant interruptions. It's almost like you can create an ADD if you get spotted a lot. You're just trying to it'd be like let's say you're trying to read a book.
Yeah, and constantly feel like they can walk over.
Keeps walking up to you, and you're like, I'm sitting here for 3 hours reading, and I've read half a page. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like So that can be stressful.
But in terms of how it makes you feel about how you interact with people, like that, do you feel like you always have to be on because you are always Judah Friedlander?
Yeah, well, I'm like, we're just talking seriously here, so this is a little...
Which I like. This
is a little out of persona. This is a little, and what wrestling they might call kayfabe.
Yeah.
And kayfabe is a word, basically, like if you went to a wrestling show and let's say you saw Hulk Hogan fighting the Iron Sheik, who were big enemies, and then later at night you walk by some bar and you saw them hanging out, drinking together, high-fiving, that would be considered breaking kayfabe. So
it's like breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. So like breaking character almost. So this is kind of a kayfabe kind of an interview.
No, but it's nice because I feel like it's more real. I like to talk to the person sometimes, not only to the personality, but to the person, because that's what makes it. Which is what makes it real to me. It's like, because there's a person behind that. I had a friend, I still have a friend, High Voltage. Wherever she went, she was high voltage. She's a trainer for celebrities, and she gets people in shape. But she always had to be high voltage until recently. She started using her real name, Kathy Dolgen. And it made her life more comfortable.
It can be, sometimes it can be a little chaotic because, you're on, you're off, or, whatever, but,
people expect
but I'm still always me. I'm still always me. You know what I mean? It's like, so.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it was great to finally do this with you, man. I've been waiting.
Man, good interview.
Awesome interview. I've been waiting
Jeffrey
for this.
Gurian, best dressed in the business right here, man. Look at him.